Richard Carlson is enjoying his retirement after a decades-long career as one of New York City's leading interior architects. Some of his career highlights include the restoration of the Statue of Liberty for its centennial anniversary in 1986, the creation of the very first Mecco window shade, which is now used in office buildings worldwide, and the innovative use of frameless glass walls in professional settings, a technique widely adopted by companies that aim to create a culture of transparency and openness. Despite the long list of accomplishments, Richard Carlson values not so much what he did, but who he did it with.
I met and walked through the halls with D.C. McGraw Sr., Old Man McGraw from McGraw-Hill. And he told me stories and gave me philosophies that stayed with me my whole career. And then I walked through the hallways with Lou Gerstner, who was the president of the card division of American Express. Then he became the chairman of RJR Nabisco. And then he became the chairman of IBM. And at one point I was sitting in my office and I get my assistant said, "You have Mr. Gerstner on the phone." And he said, "Richard, come to Armonk. I need your help."
It wasn't always roses for Richard. Every once in a while, he'd have to work with
a crumb bun,
one of which he was connected to through church. Richard's mother worked for Norman Vincent Peale, author of The Power of Positive Thinking and pastor of Marble Collegiate Church on Fifth Avenue in New York City.
Mary and Fred Trump went to Marble Collegiate Church. So I knew Mary and Fred as my mother's friends. They were my mother's generation, and she was friends with them. And they were nice. I didn't, what does the kid think about the next generation? Not very much, they were just nice people. They had this son, Donald, and I think that the reputation was that he was a bit of a player, but I don't know that. That would just be hearsay. So at one point, I was a junior partner in my firm, and we had an architectural designer who was, he lived in Manhattan and was sort of part of the social scene. And he came into the office, and I remember him saying, "I have a great commission. You know Donald Trump. He's asked me if I would design his headquarters on Fifth Avenue, where the Bonwatella building was, right next to Tiffany's on 56th Street and Fifth Avenue." And my senior partner said, "I don't think we want to really work with him." And it was a hesitation, but it was also at a time when a building commission on Fifth Avenue in New York City, you don't give away, that's an important commission, and it would be wonderful financially for the firm. So we took it. The thing that I recall was Ivana Trump coming in, and in a real swish of coming into the office with real importance, and saying, "I don't like this, and I don't like that." And if you're an architectural firm with serious professional stake in what you do, you don't really look forward to the client's wife or husband, as it may be, getting into something that has been professionally assembled, and all of a sudden, what credentials does she have to pick out what we're talking about? Anyhow, she came in one time and she said, "I don't like the marble that you're picking. I'm going to go to Italy and pick the marble." And it was almost like the architect said, "Take your building and go do what you want to do." She was so unprofessional. It was just no respect whatsoever for the profession. And she picked out this pink marble, which is as gaudy can be, and that's what the lobby of Trump Tower is. So I lost complete respect for Donald because he had no respect for us. By the way, at the end of our commission, I went and had lunch with him because I was a senior partner by then, and he owed us $125,000. He just looked me straight in the eye and he said, "Don't you know that I don't pay final invoices?" So we sued him. And 3 years later, we had spent about $125,000 on lawyers, and we gave up. So it cost us $250,000. There aren't too many people that he worked with that he didn't screw.
There have been numerous reports of President Trump behaving unethically with those he's done business with. What's notable here is that Richard Carlson, through his professional expertise, can shed some light on the workings of President Trump's mind.
At that time, most buildings were stainless steel, sophisticated, polished or brushed stainless steel. Donald wanted polished brass. He wanted it to look glitzy, and that's what they insisted on. So if you would ask me whether I like Trump Tower, I would say it's glitzy, gaudy, ostentatious, not positive kind of feelings. And my firm was responsible for the design, but we couldn't control our client.
What does gold convey when you see gold?
Rich, in somebody's mind like Donald Trump, gives a sense of importance, or...
He wants people to know that he's rich, that he has his money and his power.
Yeah, I think so. And certainly he went bankrupt enough to have to really continue to fortify that the image.
This preoccupation with appearances may be traced back to Trump's time in the pews of Marble Collegiate Church, where he heard Norman Vincent Peale preach the power of positive thinking from the pulpit. We know that Marble played a significant role in Trump's life. He met his second wife, Marla Maples, at Marble, where she sang with the choir. Scientists agree that the adolescent mind is particularly impressionable. What we are exposed to in our early years stays with us for the rest of our lives. So when Mary and Fred dragged Donald to church on Sunday, what did he learn from Pastor Peale?
You think positively in order to send out positive emanations to reproduce themselves in kind in positive results. And on this basis and by this method, positive thinkers always get positive results.
The New Age community has something to say on this topic as well. Esther Hicks has published 9 books on the law of attraction and holds dozens of seminars worldwide each year. At the beginning of each seminar, she takes a deep breath in and lets go. She is no longer Esther, but is now Abraham. She has tapped into source energy, tuned into infinite intelligence. Several years ago, long before Donald Trump announced his candidacy for president, she had this to say of the gregarious personality.
Have you ever listened to Donald Trump talk?
Yeah.
Do you ever hear him say, "I hope it works out"?
No.
What do you hear him say? This is a
work.
juggernaut. This is a massively wonderful idea. This is one of the best ideas that I've ever had. This is the best building that's ever been built in the city of Tampa. This is the best thing that I've ever sent my attention to. I hire the best people and I get the best results, and things always go well for me. In other words, he does not allow himself to talk about what went wrong or what might not go right. He's trained his vibration, and because he's trained his vibration, things work out well for him relative to the vibrations that he's trained. And we could give you endless examples of that. Anybody that succeeded at anything came to a place of expecting success.
What sort of success is Trump expecting these days?
And we have to start by building a wall, a big, beautiful, powerful wall.
We're going to build a wall. It's going to be a real wall. See that ceiling up there? I mean, this is a wall that if you get up there, you're not coming down very easy.
I would build a great wall, and nobody builds walls better than me, believe me.
Friends of Richard Carlson have given him the nickname Norman, not only because of his history with Marble Collegiate Church, but also because in their eyes, he perfectly embodies the optimistic point of view.
Do you see any way that the power of positive thinking can relate to his style?
I think that would be...
remnants of that
I think that would be such a misuse of the philosophy of positive thinking. Because positive thinking doesn't mean at the expense of somebody else. Positive thinking doesn't mean that you are superior. Positive thinking just means that God is in your life and you can be a happy, joyful human being. And it's not at anybody else's expense. He has to win. His is the art of the deal. He has to be the superior. It's just all phony baloney. And he says it so often that some idiots believe it.
It's become a reality in some people's minds. I mean, like, some people look at him and he is the best. You keep repeating something, it becomes true.
I started off by saying I have 5 grandchildren. I hope that they don't remember this presidency.
Do you think that's likely?
No.
This is Stanley Vlodika reporting.